such an incredible player of spin that he struggled so much in India. I can't, process that information.
Smith's world by the finest of margins.
It's difficult to come up with one or two specific innings that have had that.
I'll refresh your memory. I'll refresh your memory.
Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Silly Point. Again, today we're back to 3 people, which is a bit of a shame, from 6 down to 50%. So I would please ask you to like, share and subscribe so that, we can keep going with this. Today's topic is going to be a very interesting one. Obviously, we've got the England versus West Indies test series happening at the moment. England are struggling in the first test. And I think we all think that's primarily because of missing one of their key players and their captain, Joe Root. So that got us thinking, which players have had the most impact for their teams. And so that got us thinking about that. And today we're going to talk about Joe Root versus Kane Williamson. Who's a better player? We're going to be discussing them across formats. And hopefully you enjoy what we've got for you in store today. So should we start? Should we maybe start with the test format first?
Yeah, I can give it a start. So
sure.
As some of you might have known who saw our first episode, which you can check out here again, I'm a big fan of Kane Williamson. And I think if you look at, again, just pure stats between Williamson and Root, they're very similar. I'm not going to go into the details of each and every number, but they both have very decent averages, around about 50. I think Root is slightly below now. He's come down in the last couple of years. But I think what really stands out for me between Williamson and Root is Williamson has just been more consistent over time. I think the problem with Root has been over the last 2-3 years, his average has come down significantly. So although he averages in the late 40s, I think the last 2-3 years his average is around 39-40. Whereas Williamson, he's still continuously performing well. Root had one good series against New Zealand recently. He got a double 100 in that one game against New Zealand. But apart from that, I don't think, maybe if we were having this debate 5 years ago, it would have probably been a closer one when Root was probably at the peak, or maybe 3 years ago. But over the last 2-3 years, Root has not been good enough. He scored a lot of 50s. His conversion rate has been very poor. I think he has like 40 50s in his over the last 4 or 5 years, but he just hasn't converted. So that, I think, over the last 2-3 years, I think Williamson has just gotten ahead of him. Although Root is a great player, and England do miss him as we can see. But I think overall, Williamson for me takes it.
Yeah, I think I'm Team Williamson as well. I basically had a strong argument in our very first episode, which you can see on our channel. But unfortunately, he wasn't selected in the one days. But here we're first talking about test matches. So I think if you look at the numbers for these two players, they're very similar. I mean, it's really, really hard to differentiate between the two. But I think Kane Williamson in test matches stands out for me, slightly ahead of Root. I think it's mainly because a couple of points that Zahid also covered, but I think there's some stats that I was looking at, some very notable records for me, which is, he's got one of the highest 50 to 100 conversion rate. He's achieved 1,000 runs in a calendar year a few of the times, as well as he's obviously averaging more than about 50. If you just compare team versus team, England versus New Zealand, I think England is a much more stable test side. I mean, I think I might have to take my words back after this series, but I think keeping this series on one side, I think over the last 5 to 6 years, they've been a pretty stable, and we're talking about like the overall player, right? So not just the last 6 months or the last 12 months. A player if who is better overall, and I think Kane Williamson is always kind of been the lone warrior. Maybe not in the one days. He's been better supported by Ross Taylor, but I think in test matches, he's pretty much the lone warrior for New Zealand. I mean, I know that Watling and Latham, they come in and chip in for some partnership. I think Root definitely had a lot of support from Cook before his retirement, and then now obviously we have a very New England side as well. So I think for me, I think Kane Williamson slightly edges ahead of Root due to the recent performances and being a much more sort of like a lone warrior role compared to Root.
Cool. So obviously, as everyone can see, hopefully now they can. I'm wearing the 3 lions. Yeah, there you go, NatWest.
Not sponsored, by the way.
Not sponsored.
You're definitely here for an argument for Root.
Clearly, I'm Root all the way. Not Root, Root.
Boo.
Before this conversation, before actually looking at Root versus Williamson, if you had asked me point blank, who do you think is a better player, I'd probably say Williamson.
Thanks for watching, guys. That's the episode done. Thank you for watching. Williamson wins.
And tried to think about Williamson, Root, who's better, what not. But looking at the stats that I've got in front of me, I think Root is a pretty good test batsman. I don't think you guys are giving him enough credit. So I'll try and mention a couple of points that you guys spoke about already. So one thing is consistency, right? So I think you were saying that Root probably isn't as consistent as Williamson, or rather over the last couple of years, he's not performed as well as he has in the previous years. I will give you the reasoning why Williamson in those couple of years has done better than Root, right? Okay. Over the last couple of years, England have played away from home. Yeah. Right, they always have a summer obviously at home, but England have tended to play more away from home than they have at home, whereas New Zealand, it's the opposite. They've played more at home rather than away. And now I'll give you some stats. Yeah. So Kane Williamson, right, he averages less than 35 in tests in England, India, South Africa, Sri Lanka, and he averages 58 in New Zealand. Right. So we always talk about in tests, home bully, flat track bully, or rather home bully versus away bully. Okay. In test matches, you always count what the away averages are. So that gives you an idea that that Williamson has been great at home. New Zealand is a difficult place to bat, no doubt, but he's been absolutely spectacular. But when you talk about countries like England, India, Sri Lanka, he's actually struggled. If you compare that with Root is averaging 50 plus in England, in India, in South Africa. He averages 38 in Sri Lanka and 39 in New Zealand. So compared to Williamson, it's not, he does much better away from home.
I think you very conveniently from your stats, you excluded UAE, which I think Kane Williamson in Asia, his average is still above 45. I think his average in Asia is 47, right? Including UAE, which for a lot of the batsmen is a very tough place to go, especially the non-Asian players.
Yeah, correct.
And Williamson had a fantastic. I think he's been to UAE twice. He's played 6 games. He has average 65. Yes. Not only that. Root also has a decent average in the UAE, but when England have been to the UAE, they've been thrashed. They've been destroyed. Yeah, New Zealand have had 2 very good series in the UAE.
I agree. So, but I'm not talking about specifically the UAE. I'm talking about India and Sri Lanka, and I'm talking about England and South Africa. Those are 4 places. I'm not just talking about UAE.
But then you have to look at the impact, right? You have to look at how he's contributed because
correct.
Right?
Correct.
Because in India, England got thrashed, New Zealand got thrashed.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. 65 in the UAE.
But the other thing, regardless of, you can say whatever you want about Root only has 600s outside of.
I agree. That is a complete.
So that's the other thing. What's the point, yaar? Matlab 60-70 bana ke tum out ho ke ja rahe ho, kya fayda?
I just like to make one other point for Root, to the point that Waleed made, that England have had a stable team. I think even with Alistair Cook in the team since 2015, or even since the time that Cook stepped down as captain, England have probably had the most unstable team. New Zealand, on the other hand, from maybe 2014 or from the time Brendan McCullum retired, Kane Williamson has had Tom Latham, who averages 42 or 43 in test matches, Ross Taylor, who also averages 40 plus, Henry Nicholls, who Waleed didn't mention, who's also in the top 10 batsmen at the moment. So Kane Williamson in totality has had these 3 or 4 batsmen to support him. Whereas for Root, Root's own batting position has never been sure. He's opened, he's batted at 3, he's batted at 4. The only player that actually has supported Root is Ben Stokes. So I disagree.
That's exactly my point, right?
I disagree with the point that
you have to see,
a more stable team.
No, but that's the point. What's been the biggest change that Root's performed in the last 3 years? His averages, again, we discussed 40 or below 40, right? The biggest change has been Alistair Cook is gone. So when the responsibility has been on Root, he hasn't delivered. So that actually goes against him, right?
So it's the counter argument that even if Kane Williamson doesn't play for New Zealand, they will do well. But if Joe Root doesn't play for England, things are going to.
Yeah, but that's the same Rashid Khan debate, right? I mean, he's a good player for his team, but if you compare the two on a relative basis, on an absolute basis, I still think Williamson is better. Okay, for England, maybe Root is more important than Williamson is for New Zealand, but still that doesn't make Root a better player than.
Has on the fact that Williamson is a more technically suited player. He's got more innings that you can remember. When you think about what has Root done, even I will struggle to say, he's done very well in this particular test match. But with Williamson, I can think
because he scored 60, 70. You don't remember the 60. The only innings I remember is the 226 from Root. Right? If you, no one's gonna remember a 60.
That's a very key point conversion rate. Now, when I mentioned that stat earlier as well. I think the conversion from 50s to 100 is a big factor, especially in test matches. The thing is, if it's a one day, then you can say a quick 50, a quick 60, quick 70. The ability to carry on and make big scores, and he's someone who can really dig in deep. Williamson.
I disagree with consistency. I agree with, yes, Williamson overall is a better test batsman than Root, just based on his technical suitability, him batting at number 3, him being able to handle number 3 also. Root couldn't actually handle number 3. So just based on that, and the fact that, I can remember innings of Williamson digging in, doing well in test matches, going through those difficult periods. With Root, it's more difficult to remember that. On that basis, yes, I'm happy to say that Williamson is a better.
Okay, let's move on. I think Kane Williamson has scraped it. Although to be honest, I think 5 more minutes, and I may have been convinced on Root. But
well, I mean, this should be a healthy debate, and everyone should, understand each other.
Yeah, look, this is just what we think, right? I mean, you let us know, the audience, what do you think?
Yeah, what do you think exactly?
So moving on to one. Yeah, I think one day is. If Test was such a big, such a close debate, I think one day internationals.
Sorry, can I just go first? Because I feel that if there's any similarity in records, I found that a little bit in the ODIs, especially when it comes to winning record in chasing and winning games. They have a pretty good record, both of them. And when it comes to World Cup and Champions Trophy games, both of them have pretty good records. So I think in ODIs is probably the one place where, I think they are pretty similar. But again, for me, Root stands out because of his strike rate, 87. I would say that Williamson and Root are similar players, right? Both of them are not big hitters of the ball. They both start relatively slowly, and then, potentially they have the ability to hit a few sixes later on, but they're always about taking the singles and the doubles and building partnerships. So both of them are in an equal situation there. And even the batsmen that come before and after them, for both England and New Zealand in ODIs, are pretty similar. In ODIs, technically, I don't like going down the route of looking at what your averages in different countries are. But I think with Williamson, again, I had to do that because because
you need to find something against him, so you thought you should bring up a point.
because I'm looking at all the stats right in front of me, right? Wherever there's a difference, there's a big difference, I can pick those stats up, right? So like for me, surprisingly, his ODI average in Australia is 27. In Sri Lanka, it's 10. I don't know why his average in Sri Lanka so bad, and in India it's 33. Similarly, Root average in Australia is 35, which is, not too dissimilar to Williamson. But then in Sri Lanka, it goes to 64, and in India, it goes to 59. So again, Root stands out yards ahead of Williamson. Again, I'll give you that Williamson, again, I can remember his innings. I can remember, he had, he played well against Australia in the 2015 World Cup in that difficult game where both teams scored 150 each.
Yeah.
Incredible innings. With Root, it's difficult to come up with one or two specific innings that have had that.
I'll refresh your memory. I'll refresh your memory. So Williamson scored 40 something against Australia in 2015, and I'll do it's not fair obviously to just pick out one-off performances, but I'll give you that 40 from Williamson, and then the 100 he scored against South Africa in the World Cup right now, where he carried them through. I think they needed like 50 or 100 runs, and they were 5 wickets down, right? And then he carried them through. And again, that was not at a strike rate of 130, 140, because that wasn't required. But he carried them through and he won the match. Similarly, Joe Root against Pakistan in the World Cup, a big game, he gets 100, but they still end up losing the game, you know. And they needed to, you know, they needed to score 350, I think, in that match, and he got 100 of at I think a strike rate of 100 also, and indeed he lost the game, right? So
and he had Butler to support, and he had Butler to support him as well.
Sorry,
he got out before Butler.
There'll be lots of games where Williamson hasn't matched up to the required run rate and they've lost, but we won't remember that because, you know, he might have got out when he scored a 20 or a 50. Root scored the 100. That was his role in the team, is to score 100 of 100 balls. Same thing for Williamson. His role in the team is probably to score 100 of 100 balls.
No, his role is to win games for the team.
No, because they've got players around them to score that 100 of 60 balls. That's the difference. Both of them are equal in their roles in the ODIs. Both of them have to do the same thing.
The big difference here is that Kane Williamson has to do it having the role of the captain as well, which is itself is an additional responsibility which Joe Root does not have. So you have to take that into account as well. You have added responsibility if you're the captain, because you're the first one people are going to blame. If Joe Root fails to win a match for England, people are not going to blame him. People are going to blame Morgan first and then look at other players. So
I agree with that, but I don't.
Additional pressure as well.
Yeah, but that's not Root's fault. Root, probably, in my opinion, Root I never thought was a good captain. Even in Test matches, he probably isn't a good captain. He's improved, but he wasn't a natural like Williamson or Smith or Kohli. So that isn't Root's fault.
No, but we're just comparing
Williamson does much better when he's captain. In fact, he does much better.
In terms of what their role is for their teams, if we compare their role to role, Williamson has a much bigger and more difficult under pressure role for New Zealand compared to what Joe Root has for England.
Yeah,
I know they're both number 3, but he's number 3 who's also the captain. So
fair enough.
You know,
and also you have to see the issue with Root a lot of the times, and I think that you can argue that's an argument for him. And you saw this in the World Cup, right? When Bairstow and Roy give a flying start, they're 100 for no loss in 15 overs, and they send somebody else. If once they make a good start, Root ends up being the floater, because they'll send they'll send Josh Butler or they'll send Morgan.
I agree.
But that just shows that Root, his strike rate might be good. He might be good at rotating the strike,
but he's not good enough.
But he always gets sacrificed.
There's a difference, right? Why does Williamson always come at number 3 irrespective? Well, not irrespective. There are times when I can remember when Williamson has been held back and they've probably sent someone like Neesham or maybe even Ross Taylor to hit out. The reason is maybe New Zealand's openers are not as adept as England's openers. So New Zealand's openers, Williamson is probably coming in at 10 for 2. So or 10 for 1, sorry. So he has to come in. But when it's 100 for no loss in 15 overs, there is a good chance that even New Zealand might think of sending in another batsman to maximize. So that can happen, but it happens.
Yeah, but a very good example, right? And that's the strike rate point that you make. A very good example is the semi-final of the World Cup, which I'm sure Gaurav you will remember very fondly. 365 days ago today. India or New Zealand, they lost Kapil early, right?
They lost early wickets, obviously.
Right, and then Williams had to come in and he had to anchor the innings. And then obviously he got a 50, Taylor got a 50. Taylor got a 50 at a better striker, but you ignore the fact that Williamson had to go through that initial period in difficult conditions.
Where he could have easily lost his wicket.
Yeah, and thanks to him, because of him, that they ended up getting to 240, right?
You made a good point that Taylor probably on that wicket, right? On that wicket, there were only 2 batsmen who made batting look easy. That was Sir Ravindra Jadeja and Ross Taylor. Those were the only 2 batsmen that made batting look easy. And we can see that, right?
No, but why? Because they came in after 25 overs. It's easier to bat him.
I agree that they came in after, but that is their job. They are doing their job to the best of their ability. And in that match, so is Williamson. His job is to see off the new ball in these difficult type situations. And I agree to you, because of his superior technique, he would probably do better in that type of situation versus Root. I'll give you that also. In any discussion for Root versus Williamson, we will always have this discussion. We'd probably also have the same discussion for Williamson versus Kohli also. That, yes, Williamson is technically very strong. Kohli has the tendency to, poke outside the off stump. early, especially in his innings, whether it's ODIs, T20s, Tests. So Williamson will always stand out for that. That is his forte. That is his USP. But based on that, I think it's unfair to always say that he's better in everything. That is unfair. But I will give you this, that yes, I always remember more innings of Williamson, even in ODIs, than of Root.
And he was man of the tournament in the World Cup.
And he was man of the
even
tournament.
Even though he lost the final.
Yeah,
even though he lost the final.
He
I don't think he lost the final, but he was made. They were made to lose the final.
Yeah, I completely agree. That was very disappointing. How the final ended up. It was a bit of a farce.
It cost me the fantasy league as well. I mean, if New Zealand had won on points, I would have won our fantasy league, but too late for that.
Fair enough. So I think we've agreed to give Williamson the ODI,
the 1 days. Just
ODI.
by the,
I mean, I have to.
In Ian Smith's words, by the finest of margins.
Should we move on to T20? Maybe if I go first, because again I'm for Root, so maybe if I go first and we get that out of the way. I mean, obviously their overall records are pretty similar, strike rates are pretty similar, but for me, what is the real differentiator are the World T20 stats. Kane Williamson averages 28 with a strike rate of 111, whereas Root averages 50 with a strike rate of 146. And Root was the third highest run scorer in the 2016 T20 World Cup, which is obviously the most recent one we've had. Whereas Kane Williamson, he was not even in the top 10 run scorers, unfortunately. And I think that for me is the biggest differentiator between the two in T20s. The other thing is, I mean, Kane Williamson has had so much more practice than Joe Root when it comes to playing T20s. Joe Root is the first one to be dropped from England's T20 team because they have to save him for the test matches and the ODIs because he's more valuable to them. Kane Williamson has played a lot more T20s than Root has. In fact, Kane Williamson has played in the IPL regularly for Sunrisers. Root hasn't. I don't think he's ever been picked in the IPL. It's unusual for me that England keep dropping Root from the T20 team. Clearly, they have. I understand the reason why, because they've got batsmen who can score much quicker, which is fair.
Yeah.
But when I have to compare Root versus Williamson in T20s, for me, it's a no-brainer that Root is better.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's T20 is a slightly tricky debate for them because, like you said, Root, England have a priority system, right, where they don't pick Root for a lot of the T20 games and they prefer him to play Test cricket. But I think for Williamson, what stands out for me was more his recent performances. To be honest, I never thought of Williamson as being a big hitter, and playing all those fancy scoops and shots. But recently, I think he's become a lot better. He's improved a lot. And I think in the recent series against India, the T20s in New Zealand, I think that's where I really saw him coming into his own as a T20 player, where he could play a slogsy of a fast bowler. He can hit that 6-over cover. So he has evolved into a much better player. I agree, Root maybe has better stats in World Cups or whatever. Overall, the stats are still very similar.
I think for me as well, when I was looking at the overall stats, I think they were very, very similar. But I think knockout tournaments matter a lot for me in T20s, and the stats that Gaurav mentioned on the the World Cup stats, by far clearly I think Root is much better than Williamson. I think also looking at this, the batting style, Root has a slightly more aggressive style, which makes those stats much more factual compared to what you see Williamson. But I think recently he is improving and he is showing the world that he has the ability to hit big shots, Williamson. But I think in this debate, I think overall, given that the knockout stats are for Root are far more better than Williamson, I think I would be happy to give this to Root.
I think I'd hazard a guess as well. If we had the T20 in Australia this year, well, it can still happen next year, but whenever we have that T20 in Australia and then in 2021 or 2022 it would be in India, I can guarantee you this: Root would do significantly better than Williamson, because again I'll come back to the fact that Williamson struggles in Australia and in India. So I can write that now, that Root would perform provided he gets picked by England.
That's the question. He might not even get picked.
And that is through no fault of his own. I mean, Williamson has played 60 T20s, T20Is, and Root has played 32. or 50%.
Mm.
So there's a significant difference. So sometimes I feel that Root hasn't had a chance to develop his skills to the extent that Williamson has. Right? He's played so much in India. He's played so much IPL in India. And again, I'm really surprised why I don't get why he struggles so much in India across formats. In India, his T20 average is 22 and strike rate of 107. What is it with Williamson being such an incredible player of spin that he struggles so much in India? I can't process that information.
I mean, yeah. Again, it's very close for me, but I guess the big tournament, and although probably it's the least relevant in T20s, but if you really want to use away form or away record,
I'm not using it. I conceded to Williamson being better in test matches on a different reasoning, not on the reasoning that I was giving or that you were giving. I was giving it on a different reasoning. So I agree that yes, overall he is a better player in test matches.
No, yeah, and plus I think the other issue with New Zealand, especially in T20s, although there have been a lot of big major tournaments recently, is that the team as a whole also hasn't they haven't done that well. I mean, England, they at least got to the final the last time.
I agree.
We all know what happened in the final. No.
The same thing goes for Joe Root in test matches. New Zealand have been a better test match team than England over the last 2 or 3 years. The same argument can go there. So I just think that Root he's a much better T20 player than Williamson. Fair enough in ODIs and
much better is a bit of an overstatement, but better maybe.
Slightly better.
for me he's much better, and I conceded wholeheartedly to Williamson being better. Like I said at the beginning, if you ask me point blank without doing the research I've done now, who's a better player, I would say Williamson. I am agreeing to the fact that I was also of the same mindset. Without thinking, without understanding what Root has gone through, I would have said yes, Williamson is the better player. But having done the research, I feel that there are, he's a great player. And again, I feel I might be wrong. If Joe Root stops being England Test captain, I think he will scale the heights that he scaled before becoming captain. That's my opinion.
Maybe Ben Stokes' performance might encourage them to swap. But
like I said in our England versus West Indies series preview, which you can find here, I think Ben Stokes is that character who does much better when responsibility is put on him, like Williamson, Steve Smith, and Virat Kohli, like those
and
guys.
Babar Azam.
He's untested yet, so I won't comment on that.
And Shahid Afridi. We had to mention Shahid Afridi. Yeah. We couldn't go an episode without mentioning Shahid Afridi.
Well, let's just say that Root and Williamson are much better players than Shahid Afridi. There's no comparison. Let's end it at that.
Okay.
So guys, thank you for listening. There we go. Alluding to what I had said at the beginning, if you asked me point blank, I would have said Williamson. And I think overall we've come to that conclusion that Williamson is the much better player. I think
Not much, but yeah.
He outdid Root in the test matches. He outdid Root in the ODIs. But Root overtook him in the T20s, even though he's played lesser T20s, hasn't had much of a chance to hone his skills. But I think we all thought he's a better T20 player. So that's what we have for you today. Please do let us know your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think is a better player? Maybe you have a different opinion than us in the various formats. Do let us know, and please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.